touch that track, it turns into gold.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Stand up for me who in this room has written, published, produced a book in any way, shape, or form. Just trying to see what I'm working with here right now. And stay standing if you've sold at least one copy to somebody you didn't know prior to writing the book. Stay standing for that. That's freaking huge. So just let's have a round of applause for that, for starters, right? Like, that is already aspiration for many in this industry. I want you to stay standing for a second, too, for some more numbers. Stay standing if you've sold more than 250 copies of said book. Right? Do you know that that is the average number of books sold by a nonfiction author, period? Average. So if you're more than 250, you, my friends, are already above average. Stay standing if you've sold more than 3,000 copies of said book. Interesting. See, 3,000 is the number of what the traditional publishing industry would see as a reasonable effort of success with a book. And stay standing if you're at 10,000. Because 10,000 is what the traditional publishing industry look at as saying, that was good. That was really good. We're really happy with those numbers. So round of applause for those that have done more than 10,000 units of a book. Did you know that also if you do 6,000 copies of the book in the right window, you're highly likely to be a Wall Street Journal bestseller? You get 10,000 books in the right window, you might make New York Times. Sell 17 books in the right category in the right way, then you're highly likely to be top of class as an Amazon bestseller. Some of those numbers are interesting to know, I think. I think they're different to what many people think. Stay stood up if you've sold more than 100,000 copies of a single book. Right? You're welcome to keep going. And I want you to get a context of the fact that just how rare some of these numbers are. We think books run and run and run and run and run. So I want to just check, just so I know what I'm dealing with here as well. Stay stood up if you've sold more than 1 million copies of a single book. So given the fact that you're hearing today from both Randy and I, looks like you got the two most qualified people in the room to talk about how you can do more with books. And I'm not going to tell you the answer, I'm going to share you my journey. And I've learned a lot about the fact that success leaves clues. We live in an industry where there are a lot of opinions. Opinions and advice are different things. If there's one thing I've learned great about this industry is follow the clues from the people who've done it, not the people who have an opinion about how you should do it. So catch that for a second. And all I'm packing or unpacking is how I've done what I've done. It doesn't mean it's the way. It just means it's a way, and we got some results to back it up. Today's not my speech. It's me sharing with you some thoughts about how you can do more with books, regardless of your aspiration around what numbers exist for you. But here are some numbers that have existed in my world. To date, little book, exactly what to say, when I produced these slides, was 1.3 million something units across all modalities. That's where we're at with it, right? And today, we tipped over 1.4. Which is kind of a nice bump. You see that 100,000 units that most people haven't done? We did that 100,000 units between me doing this slide and now. That's not me to clap. That's the market. Just for reference. Other numbers just to be able to think about. This book's got 17,000 words in it. Breaks the mold of what a book should be, right? Should have 60,000 words, should have 80,000 words, should have a big, thick spine, should be all sorts of things. It's not big enough to be a book. Yet 1.4 million people disagree. Interesting, right? What else are interesting numbers? 29 international translations. That's so fun. They look so pretty. They're all like sexy. What else do you want to know is 6.7 times average listen on Audible. I have the most listened to nonfiction book on audible.com. Not the most sold, the most listened to. Yes. It's 72 minutes long. So catch the clues. It's also one of the first books to be chosen to go on a new video book platform called Lit. Highly funded video book platform. I am book 5 of what is likely to be 5,000 over the next 2 years of a video book experience that was incredible, which is kind of fun. What else in terms of numbers? Over $2 million in direct revenue I have in my personal bank account because of a little book with 17,000 words in it. But you can't make money from books. And the indirect opportunities I couldn't possibly add up. There's a lot of that from a book. So what am I really saying? You get this right, it is one giant opportunity. Not for selling books, but for changing your life. My life is demonstrably different today because I chose to pour time, effort, and energy into one tiny little book. Demonstrably different. Not like kind of a bit better, demonstrably different because. Now, there are also 2 types of book that I think speakers should think about, because I think there's a harsh line between these 2 types of books. And the first of these books is what I call a big idea book. And the thing with a big idea book is this is when you get a big idea and you decide to put it in a book and then bring that book to market to see if your big idea is a good idea. A lot of people try to produce those books. I don't know a lot about those books. But what you're looking for is for the market to decide, is this a good idea? Roll the dice, cross your fingers. Let's see what we can do with that. You might want to do that with a major publisher that likes your big idea, that's going to juice it and going to run the distance. The second type of book, the proven method book, is what this book is for me. It's a book I've lived with, I've loved for a long period of time. In fact, this book is like my baby. Show of hands in this room who's got kids. Who wants to keep their kids for a long time? Catch a load of memories with them, build a life with them, etc. Right, that's what I want to do with my book, because this proven method book is my proven method. It's something I've grown up with, it's something I've learned to master, it's something that I've lived with for a period of time, and I want to live with for the rest of my life. Any of you have proven methodology that you want to live with for the rest of your life? Please own it. Please don't give it away. Please keep it as yours, because then what happens is you're in control of your children. Today we're going to talk about that proven method book and how you can do more with that. And if you haven't yet written a book, or you have written a book and you want to understand how you can do more with it, you need to know the answer to these 3 questions. First question is this one. Who are the people you're looking to help? It's a question we should ask ourselves when we're looking to go to market with just about any offering. Who are the people you're looking to help? No, I said people, not person. And I want you to get narrow on all the different people that can be helped by a book and your message that lives in said book. Because if you want to reach the many, then what you have to do is have an offering that is fit for the many and get clear on who the many are. There is never a giant million group of people. There are lots of groups of people within that million groups of people. Get clear on who all the people are that you're looking to help. And then also get crystal clear on all the challenges you're looking to help those people overcome. Because that's what this book needs to do. It needs to help those people overcome those challenges, and the greater clarity you get on those 2 things, the better book you will write. The better book you can market if you already have said book. Because there are a lot of things you can do with a Swiss Army knife if you get crystal clear on all of its functions. But nobody's looking for a Swiss Army knife. What they're looking for is a can opener, a screwdriver, a pair of scissors, etc. Understand your existing book can be all of those things if you identify the people and the challenges to help overcome. Get clear on that, you've got never-ending angles. What else do you need to get crystal clear on in terms of questions around your book? This third one is huge. Is how are you measuring success for the book? Because it's okay that success for your book is a stranger bought 1 copy. It's okay for success for your book to be, I can look at it and dang, it's pretty. Right? It's okay that I just wanted to do the work to get these ideas out of here and into here, and I've packaged it that way. That was success for me. But if you are measuring success by saying you want a perennial bestseller, something that's going to be a legacy piece within your organization, you've got to look for clues and say, well, where does that come from? So my North Star when producing exactly what to say was a few books and a few authors. One was Michael Bungay-Stanier, who wrote a book called The Coaching Habit, that if you haven't read it, grab a copy. It's the most recommended book that I have, period. And then I looked at books like The 4-Hour Work Week, Who Moved My Cheese, Eat That Frog, etc., because I wanted a book that 20 years on from now was still relevant. That was my North Star when I started. I wanted a companion for the ride, for my speaking career, for life. I wanted something that could be my signature industrial strength business card and could serve 1,000 different purposes in my business ecosystem. So I started there. But know how you measure success for you with your book, because there's different things it can be. It could be a passport to get you on stage. My first book that I wrote, that I sold like 1,300 copies of, was to get me out of the UK and onto the international speaking circuit. That was its purpose. To be able to add to bio, published author of Toolbox. Toolbox is now retired. I wrote that book in 2011, sold 1,300 copies, got me into Europe, got me into Asia, because published author was enough. So understand purpose. And with those 3 questions answered, now I'm just going to unpack 10 ideas, 10 key principles, 10 thoughts about my operating system, about how we work to get to 1 million+ books. And the summary of the ecosystem is this. And words are my thing. Let's just look at each of these words for a second. Firstly, stop trying to sell books. Nobody needs another one. Nobody sat at home today thinking what I need is another book, period. It's not a thing. Instead, work relentlessly to create moments that deliver reasons for people to want to read your book. Let's pluck those words one at a time, the ones that I've underlined. I got nothing I can share with you today that's like, hey, just do that and you're going to hit this downhill slope, you're going to sell a gazillion copies. Nothing. You've got to commit to this thing for a period of time, and it is a relentless body of work. So if you want a book to do 1 million copies, love it, because you're going to have to work relentlessly for a period of time to be able to keep this journey going long enough. Nobody wants to buy a book, but people love moments. This is a moment, right? We remember our moments. We tell stories about our moments. We share our moments. But if you want to sell books, create moments that deliver reasons. Reasons are like, I need to know more about that. I want to understand that in greater detail. I want to implement that with my team. I'd like other people to understand this methodology. Those are reasons. And you have to create a reason for people to want to read your book. Want to. Not want to buy, want to read. And I tell you what, if your book is 80,000 words long, you're asking for 8 hours of somebody's life. It's a big ask in today's market. Big, big ask. So to want to read that, the reason needs to be even bigger. So you have to keep amplifying the reason if you want to take more of somebody's time. So I got 10 key ideas, thoughts that I think can help you achieve more with a book or just about anything else you want to produce. But we're going to align it towards the book. I'm going to give you everything I've got. So knowing that I'm going to give you everything I've got in this next 28 minutes, are you going to give me everything you've got back in return? Some of these are big principles, and they're going to show you how my brain works, which is weird. The first thing that I wanted to introduce as an idea is this viewpoint of writing wide and editing narrow. What do I mean by that? One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make in the book world is they write the book for too small of an audience. Sometimes they write the book just for themselves and wonder why nobody else wants to buy it. They wrote it just for themselves, which is fine if that was your reason going in. But if you wrote it for other people to read it, make sure that you picked an audience that was wide enough at the front end. Here's a big mistake I see speakers make. They write a book for the 3 people at the back of the room as opposed to the 300 people in the room. So they wonder why nobody buys it. My book was an accompaniment towards my speaking business. I repackaged this book in 2017. I tell you I repackaged this book. Why? Because exactly what to say is actually a rewrite of a book I wrote in 2013 called Magic Words. This is a legacy piece of my work that I was training in 2009, 2010, 2011, was a signature piece towards my keynotes. It's something I've workshopped over 600 times. When I wrote my first book on Magic Words, it was a fun giveaway as like a PDF attachment download within the site. It came as a result of a mastermind group with other speakers that said, it's really hard to write a book. I said, it's not. It's easy. I could do it in 2 weeks. And they called me out. So I did it. I took a 2-page PDF from a training I'd written the week before. I turned it into a book within 2 weeks, published it on lulu.com, pushed it into market, ran a KDP promotion around it. We had 120,000 free downloads of that book within 7 days. By accident. The book was a pamphlet. Honest, it was a pamphlet. And I kept that book for a while. We gave it away, etc. But when I moved to the US in 2017, I needed a book to kickstart my speaking career within North America, not in the global scale. I want to be here. I didn't want to do big planes, didn't want to go everywhere. I want to be here. So I thought, I need a new book, need a new book, need a new book, need a new book, need a new book. You idiot, what the heck do you need a new book for? Write the one that you know that works better. Repackage, brilliant. And exactly what to say is the book I should have written and took a bit more time over it. I wrote the book for every audience member I'd ever worked with. Every audience member I'd ever worked with, because I wanted it to be able to accompany every piece of business that I was going to do for the next decade. And then I edited it narrow. What does edit narrow mean? You know all the people I'm looking to help? I'm looking to help leaders get better results in this. I'm looking to help healthcare workers get better results in this. I'm looking to help entrepreneurs being able to have more results in this. I'm looking at these people being able to achieve this. I edited it through every single one of those lenses. So how does this book help leaders empower their sales team? How does this book help an individual who is looking to take their good idea to market for the first time? How does this book help a healthcare worker? How does this book help a parent? How does this book help? And does it work through all of those lenses? Primary person, all these secondary users. Now all of a sudden I had a book that was aimed at everybody, but polished for all of these specific groups as well. So people could see themselves in the book. If people see you in the book, it will not travel. If people see themselves in the book, it will run the distance. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Yes. What I then did is said, this is not a book, this is a product. With a product, form follows function. So I want to craft the entire experience. I'll show you this book. It's a paperback. Most people launch a hardcover. It's a paperback. It's lightweight. What do I want it to be? I want it to be an accompaniment. I wanted people to be able to put this in their bag and it not be heavy. I wanted to be able to sell it at airports. Anybody tried the Hudson bookstore thing? Can't make money at Hudson bookstore, right? Wrong. When my book costs me 85 cents to produce, when it's fit for the purpose of accompanying an airport ride, we broke the model at Hudson. Because it sat in the paperback section, not the hardcover section. It was a third of the price for placement. It was the book somebody wanted to carry. People wondered why Sapiens wouldn't sell in the airport. It's like you need an extra piece of carry-on luggage for said book. But its form followed its function, right? It's paperback from the start. It's ready to be able to go the distance. It's cheap for me to produce. I can give it away. What else in terms of crafting the user experience? I told the user what I wanted them to do. In the book, I say, let's continue the conversation here. I don't say, leave me a review. I say, let's continue the conversation. Every single day, a stranger continues the conversation with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, in my email inbox. I craft the experience with a shameless plug at the back of the book that amplifies the experience of what I'm looking for somebody to get towards. And it tells people that we do bulk orders. It tells people that we do customization of the book for industries. And it leaves enough intrigue that says, if you're interested in learning more about this, contact Bonnie at philmjones.com. Gives them a person to speak to. We sell bulk books like crazy. Do you know my minimum order quantity for bulk books? 10. Micro bulk is where the volume is. Who are the people that want books? People who want to train their people around methodology. B to small b is remarkably powerful in the book space. Network marketing groups, MLM groups, book space, small b. People want to buy 10. Real estate businesses want to buy 12 for their agents. The quantity of books I sell between 10 and 48 is huge. But we do loads in that space, and we make it easy. We build a user experience around it. There's a web page. There's the right stuff for people to know it's okay to get discounts on 10. I build an infrastructure around it that says we can ship these white label effortlessly. I hold stock in the US, in Canada, and in the UK, so we can deploy within 2 days. We're built fit for purpose. I don't stuff a single envelope. But the experience is built to say, we can ship books, we can ship them quick. And this is the thinking that I think we should all plug into more of. Is never, ever, 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 ever leave launch mode. I did 3 interviews last week about my new book. When you move on from an idea too quickly, people don't remember you for your idea. They remember you for you. They might remember you for all of your ideas. But it's difficult to build a reputation when you've got too many ideas out in the marketplace. Also, a book needs to be new to somebody. It can be new to somebody from a period of time. I met somebody on a plane yesterday traveling here, or the day before, whenever it was reading a book, new book to them. Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. New book. If you want to go the distance, be ready to go the distance, be championing this. This is an album for me. I'm Rick Astley. This is never going to give you up. I'm with this for a long time. My business psychology around exactly what to say is I'm going to ride this like Psy rides Gangnam Style, right? There is no follow-up album on Gangnam Style. Don't need to produce a new single, etc. All roads lead to Gangnam Style. That is what that man will be remembered for, regardless of what else he does, correct? I'm happy to the fact that I'm going to launch, relaunch, repackage, reproduce, find new angles for exactly what to say. We do exactly what to say in custom editions. I sold 10,000 units, which is more than most people sell of a single book, to one client. And we did exactly what to say for professional photographers. I did it for the Professional Photographers Association. And it works for their association. They bought 10,000 copies. I had a breakout workshop at their event 1 year. They had 10,000 books at the event. The keynote speaker wasn't me. Who had all the exposure at the event? 3 years ago. Do you think they've got books left over? Who had all the exposure at the event the year later, and again this year? Because the book keeps on giving. They market this book at every PPA event because they bought 10,000 units. I'm always in launch mode. I'm always finding angles. It's funny, right? In terms of launch mode, people say I wrote all of these exactly books, right? So exactly what to say, exactly how to sell, exactly where to start. I did. You know these 2 books here? They haven't sold anywhere near as many. Why? Because I decided that was going to be true. These 2 books are the weight behind the tip of the arrow that is exactly what to say. They show that I, as an author, have substance behind this one little book. They're the bigger books that says this author has credibility in other areas that gives him the right to be able to do this book. These books are done with a traditional publisher. Publisher paid me some money to do this. Here's a simple fact. I can print this for 85 cents. I can buy this for $17 from my publisher. Right? How do I build a business around that? This is hard. This gives effortless opportunities. And this is my baby. I don't need a childminder for my baby. I'm not going to sell my baby the day it's born. I'm not going to sell it before it's born. That's not my model. This is my baby. These are credibility. These are tools. These are weight that sit behind this. Make sense? And where else do we go? People are good at buying books, correct? I repeat, they're good at buying books. What are they not so good at? And then taking action of what sits inside books. So when you can look at the fact that your job is to create readers of books, then what you can do is get to that second level sphere. See, when it comes to launching books, we can all launch books towards our circle. Whether your circle is 12 people, 12,000 people, 120,000 people, we can launch a book into our people. And we do things at launch mode that's like, hey, I'll give you these webinars, I'll give you these bonuses, buy this quantity of books and you'll get that. And what happens is they didn't want the book. They wanted the other thing. So they bought the books to get the other things, and all of a sudden, your pile of 12 books lives in their office for a period of time, and then what happens with it? It gets dumped. The book doesn't ripple because they didn't read the book. Loved you, liked your bonuses, wanted to show you support. If you want a book to run the distance, you've got to get to the next layer of people. There's only one thing that sells books. Somebody else saying, I read this, you should read it too. That's it. Only one thing sells books. Other people saying, I read this, you should read it too. The number of actions that you can bring that create, I read this and you should read it too, is what creates those never-ending stories. If I want people to read the book, every action I have has to be about creating people who are going to consume its content in as many different ways as possible, so what they can then do is share its content. Which leads to this next way of thinking, which I think is really quite profound. It's to market the message over the modality. If you come out and you say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, that's sexy for 6 weeks and then shut up. Sick of it. But the message, you market the message forever. Here's the magic though. People think the magic needs to live inside the book. No, the magic needs to live outside the book. The magic lives outside the book. People want to understand, how do I perform the magic? So what does this really mean? Make them fall in love with the message, and they'll want to learn the method. Make them fall in love with the message, they'll want to learn the method. Make sense? Which means that everything needs to live outside of the book. This is, to Mark's analogy yesterday with the albums and the singles piece, etc. If you want to sell or stream or sell tours or anything like that in the music industry, what do you do with your single? It's out on YouTube. People can get the video. They can get it for nada. You're performing it for free everywhere. All of the big guns are out there up front. The people fall in love with the music, then want to go buy it, follow the tour, get closer to the action. So think about the thousands of singles that sit inside your body of work and look at how do you get them out the work and get those out into the marketplace and give them to other people. Which leads to this. Everybody wants to be the entree in this business. Look at me, come with me, my podcast, my email list, my course, sign up to my list. And what happens is you stifle your own reach. I want to be Tabasco sauce. I want to be everywhere, but I'm not stealing any of the attention. What does that mean? It's a very easy message to book, right? Who needs to know exactly what to say? I can find an angle on that for everybody. Also, what does it not conflict with? Anybody else's methodology. If my method conflicts with their method, they don't want my method because they spent money, time, and attention on their method. It is a big ask. If I'm hot sauce, I can be on every table. People can decide if they want to take it. What does it mean? It means that my principles around this is I don't want a podcast, I want to be on other people's podcasts. I don't want an email newsletter, I want exactly what to say in your newsletter. I don't want to write articles around this. I want articles on other people's platforms around this. I want an army of cheerleaders. So what I do is I give it all away so other people can give it away in their world, making them look smarter. So if exactly what to say becomes their book, which means if somebody wants to steal my work and train it, I go, yay! Not cease and desist. I say, get after it. Go do it. Can I send you more books? Why? Silent Sales Army. Silent Sales Army. Why? Because every time one of these goes through Amazon, I get paid $4.50. Every time. We do 100+ units every single day. And I don't think it's going to stop, and I don't think I could stop it. And then what do? You tell the never-ending story. That's your job. The never-ending story. This is hard if you're not in love with the book, right? Those of you with kids, what do? You tell the never-ending story. You collect all the assets as you go, right? All the assets to tell the never-ending story, you collect them as you go. You get photos of everything, and you keep telling the never-ending story. You want real photos. If you right now have a 3D mock-up thumbnail image of your book on your website, you're an idiot. Because you're telling me the book doesn't really exist in the wild. Give me a photo of the book in the wild. Give me more photos of the book in the wild. Take the time to spend the money on treating your book like you would your kids and photograph it properly. Build assets around it that are refined. And then once you've refined the assets, evolve the assets. When we tipped over 1 million copies on the book, I decided I need to do a commemorative edition to celebrate the fact, right? On 1 million copies. You do 1 million albums, you go platinum, you go gold. You don't get that in the book market, so I made it up. I'm doing it for myself. This May, we produce exactly what to say, which I'm just being stupid in calling EWTS to see if we can make an acronym happen, but who knows. My book, actually, I think we're going to put it out of stock before launch. Why? Because I own it. I've created a launch team. People can buy 12 copies. I'm going to teach them the book before the book even comes to market so they can become ambassadors for the book. They're going to get this new version of the book. You see the one on the far right where it looks gray and it looks like it's got gray on it. It's not. It's actually black silk embossed. So it's black on black on black. You know what I wanted the Amazon listing to be? Just a black rectangle. But distribution said I had to put a dust jacket on it and all these kind of things. So the dust jacket is the sexiest thing I've ever produced. And why? Because I crafted the book. This book is the hardcover that was never produced before. It's bigger. Do you know how I crafted this book? With a lesson I got from other smart authors that said, read your reviews of the existing book. The reviews of my existing book became the editor for my evolved edition. But the reviews to focus on most were the 3-star reviews. And the 2s, and then the 4s. Not the 1s and the 5s. The 3s, the 2s, the 4s. Why? They wanted to love the book, and they didn't. It was missing stuff. What did it need more of? People wanted more examples. People wanted to understand more of the science behind it. They wanted more room to create their own notes. They wanted it to be able to live on their desk and stand on their desk and be sexy on their desk. They wanted to be able to keep it for longer. They wanted it to be more robust. So what I do? I give these people that. I'll let them be my product designers of the new book. We've committed to 10,000 units. Here's my issue with this book. It cost me $9 a copy. $9. I ordered 10,000 units 3 weeks ago. It's a lot, right? To be able to roll into a book. But damn, what am I doing? I'm creating a moment to talk about that is going to help me keep selling this book that I make $4.50 on every time it goes through Amazon. So I created a new leading character that can help my best supporting actor continually get parts. We go bigger than the book. It's not just a book now, it's a movement. Not just a book, it's a movement. Why? Because I care about exactly what to say. So much bigger than a book. I mean, we have merchandise. Look, I'm wearing it, right? We got it from what Rory was saying, right? You need to say, what is the call to action that you want somebody to follow? There's a few, like the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment when you're saying it, which is crazy when I'm on stage making this up today. But I want people to know that if they change their words, they can change their world. So what do? We stuck it on a t-shirt. Do you know conferences for this year are using that slogan for the theme of their event, and they are licensing it from me. Interesting, right? So we go even bigger. I love bourbon. So what did I do? I create a bourbon label. So now you can get exactly what to drink. That'll do, right? We keep going bigger than the book. I wanted to find a new audience. So what did we do through the pandemic? I produced this. Kids book. Because the message is bigger than the modality, which means I can put the message in 1,000 different things, but what do all roads lead to? I'm going to read to you something in the back of this book. Other books by Phil M. Jones, of which I have 11. And in this book is 1. There is a book that helps grown-ups too. Helps them learn more about the power of words. It's helped a gazillion people and is concise to the point so even the busiest of people can implement its actionable advice straight away. So parents, if you've ever found yourself lost for words or wondered exactly what to say, then grab yourself a copy of this. You'll find it wherever books are sold. So this book creates a moment for this book. I did my favorite event probably of the decade last week, where I was invited by a senior client who bought copies of this book for all of her kids' class to read the book to the class. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm in. Did it on Zoom, and she said, well, we've got a problem because now the head's found out, and the head's asked, can you do it for all the classes in the school? So here I am showing up on Zoom the other day to the frightening audience everywhere, where it's like person, 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 classroom, classroom. I'm like, hey, Mrs. So-and-so's class, hey, Miss So-and-so's class, everybody happy? And I read the book. I read the book to them all. And then we do a Q&A with the kids, and the teachers are asking, what other books have you written? And now what they're saying is every school should have you do this. I never thought that me speaking to schools could help me create opportunities for a book that I wrote to empower salespeople. But what happens is when the message is bigger than the modality, the message takes you to places that you could never, ever, ever imagine. Then what do? You keep going. You go bigger than the book, you keep going, right? This is a never-ending story. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. I've got 100 new things in my pipeline. Do you know, every time that I blurb a book, author of exactly what to say. Not speaker, trainer, coach, consultant, founder of Orange and Grey, not like any author of exactly what to say. If I write an article in a publication, author of exactly what to say. I'm all in. I've got 2 new books coming out this year that I co-authored with people who are better positioned to lead the charge on that book than me. I take position 2 on those books, grant position 1 to speakers that I believe are better positioned to champion that message for the next decade than me. I'm the second author on it. I packaged it. What am I doing in that market? Well, author of exactly what to say is helping amplify the message that lives in prove it and the work before the work. Allowing me to tell the never-ending story. And what am I now doing? By the end of next year, I'll have 100 messengers, other speakers, trainers, consultants, business owners that are in love with exactly what to say as much as I am. And I'm helping them to carry the message forward for the next decade. For the next decade. That's how long I'm committed to this, maybe longer. But at least the next decade. I'm all in for exactly what to say. And if my tombstone reads nothing more than great father, loving husband, and author of exactly what to say, I'm good with that. I'm real good with that because it's not a book. It's not a book. It's a business. I'm in the business of exactly what to say. I'm not selling books. I'm in the business of exactly what to say. Up here, we have some examples of those books. I'll throw them down on this table over in this corner over here. You're free to be able to take, look at, prod, poke, any of the things that are here. And I want to remind you of this before I ask if there are any quick questions. This is the operating system. Stop trying to sell books. Instead, work relentlessly to create moments that deliver reasons for people to want to read your book. Why? Because your job description, if you want to sell books, is to interrupt somebody's day for long enough. To help them become aware of a problem they didn't know existed, to then in turn amplify that problem and present them with a solution they didn't know that existed that just happened to be your book.